It's your host, the Commish. Hello, managers. All right, y'all know what it is. VR12, week 3 Commish note. I feel like I'm really bright right now. I need to turn this camera away. Give me a sec. All right, let's try this out. Let's see what we got here. How's that looking? It's a little less bright, I think. Maybe I'm just seeing things. I'm delusional in my old age. All right, here's what we got. I'm going to give you a rundown. Let's start off with the standings. After 3 weeks, at the top we have absolutely no change. So Sergio, 3-0, numero 1. Darshan, 3-0, numero 2. Then you got Punchall, Bryant, J Nash, and Luis following that, 3, 4, 5, and 6, all at 2-1. And then the losing side of things. When I said losing, that means the losing record-wise, at least. So you follow that up with in 7th, you got Aaron, James in 8th, AK in 9th, Matt in 10th, all at 1-2. And then the two guys that came in at 0-2 after week 2 are now sitting at 0-3. DJ in 11th, myself in dead last. Rounding out the bottom of the barrel, baby. Oh, yeah. So I seem to forget this always, and I'm going to post it at the end. I'm going to post our current odds. I'm going to knock them out of the way right now so I don't forget this week, because I forgot week 2. So here we go. Current odds, Sergio and Darshan, congrats, 2-1 odds. Ponchal sitting at 5-2. Followed that by J Nash at 3-1. Luis 4-1. I see you, Luis. I see the moves your team's been making. I see you. Aaron and Bryant coming in at 5-1. Matt, I'm going to have you at 6-1. James and AK at 8-1. DJ 10-1 and myself 12-1. Talk about a long shot odds, baby. Oh, yeah. So, we're going to start with the matchups. The first matchup that we're going to introduce. You know. Actually, you don't know. The first thing I'm going to actually do is hop into the Cowboys talk. And I have a little something for you when I talk about this offense that the Cowboys have and the way our team looks. And there's really only one sentence or one quote that really describes it.
Oh, no! We suck again!
And that's facts. That's an absolute fact. We do. We suck again. Why do we suck again? Because we have the same head coach. Same offensive coordinator. Same quarterback that can't throw the ball. Same lack of weapons on the outside. Same injured center. No tight ends to talk about. By the way, my goal in this episode was to dress up like Jason Garrett, but even to myself, I couldn't find the ability inside of me to look like that much of a tool. So, for the ability not to be a tool, I'm going to clap that up too. Anyway, moving on from the trash talking of the Cowboys. By the way, if you don't know, we are literally a few months away from hopefully having a top 5 pick. We'll get back into that more as the weeks go on and the week progress, and we'll see if we continue to lose. We all know we want to. At least I do. Anyway, the reason we're here, VR12. We're going to start off with a great matchup. Y'all know what we start with every week. It's the Underdog Revenge Tour, baby. That's what we're starting with. Now, management is currently all sick. They all have pneumonia. One guy has leukemia. He's actually getting treatment in Zimbabwe. So it's a bunch of stuff going on. So they're thinking about postponing the rest of the tour, primarily for lack of attendance. And by attendance, I mean points. So, that's kind of what it is. Instead, just remember, it's fantasy hockey season, baby. Get excited. Let's break down this matchup. Darshan beat me 107.94 to 97.2. So Fitzmagic on Monday Night Football, 33.14 points, giving him the win. He threw 3 interceptions. One of them returned for a touchdown. Did not matter. He still threw for 400 plus yards. I think 411 to be exact. The first quarterback in league history to throw for 400 yards in 3 consecutive games. Congrats to you. He decided not to throw to Deshaun this week. That's one of the points coming up here. I want to get to my side. Also, Todd Gurley, 22.6 points. Todd Gurley showing why he was the top pick on all fantasy boards basically going into the season, and basically he's living up to it. So good for him. He's balling out. Now, obviously, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my side of things. So you have Deshaun, OBJ, and Jarvis Landry. They accounted for 2/3 of my team's points. So congrats to them. The rest of you guys, sick. This matchup was not decided by a landslide. This was a close one, decided on Monday Night Football. I did not catch any breaks. Unfortunately, Deshaun Jackson is not being used any longer, at least for the Week 3 scheme, since that's the week I want to start him after being the number 1 wide receiver in Week 1 and Week 2 in fantasy. That's how it goes. You have a boomer bust player. They're going to give you big points, but they're also going to have the week where they're going to lay a dud, 35 or 37 or whatever points you gave me. Doesn't like it, not like it mattered. It wasn't enough. It's more than Peyton Barber. By the way, Peyton Barber is still trash. Still trash. Told y'all that. I don't know why they don't use Ronald Jones. I keep picking him up because I'm loopy in the head, everybody. But it doesn't matter. What would decided this matchup? People are going to say, well, yeah, it was at the end. Sure, the touchdown thrown by Fitzpatrick gave Darshawn the win, blah, blah, blah. No. The reason is that I got screwed on touchdowns. 5 to be exact. Let me count them. Jarvis Landry Thursday night at the 1. Down. Jarvis Landry on Thursday night at the 1. Down. That's 1 yard line, by the way, so we're clear. And let's go to Sunday. Jared Cook, shuffle pass, 8 yards, down at the 1. Sick. Jared Cook again, Sunday, scored a touchdown, reviewed, overturned, sent to the 1 yard line. That's 4. By the way, on that 4th one right there, they handed off to Marshawn Lynch, who Darshawn also has. There's another touchdown. 12-point swing. Crazy. That was my favorite play of the week. Gotta love it. Also, Deshaun Jackson, return punt. Called back because someone wanted to do a nice little push in the back. Sick. 5 touchdowns right there. And that's not even mentioning Todd Gurley had a touchdown on Sunday. That Brandon Cooks actually caught a touchdown. They reversed it, called him down at the 1 yard line. The 1 yard line's a big fan of mine this week. And by big fan, I mean a big screwer. Screwed me over righteously. But it doesn't really matter. That's how it goes in fantasy. You just have to kind of push through it. My team isn't doing that, and that's the bottom line. So that's the final for that week. Let's go to the next matchup on the list. I have Ponchal defeating Matt, and he didn't really defeat him. He kind of like waltzed through this matchup like it was nothing. Matt's team is off the hinges. Apparently, they are basically, I think, if without double checking the numbers, I think Ponchal scored more points this week than Matt has each of the last 2 weeks combined. So it's yikes. It was 126.26 to 65.86 was the final in this matchup. Pat Mahomes, he sucked. He only threw 3 touchdowns, 314 yards. Kid, 13 touchdowns to 0 interceptions on the season through 3 games in his career. Straight trash. And by straight trash, I mean a legend. He has a bus already in the Hall of Fame, ready to go. Canton's already dialing it up. Anyway, on to the other guys in this matchup. Barkley, Howard, Alex Collins, his 3 running backs, RB1, 2, and his flex guys all found pay dirt. They all get in the end zone. Guess what? You're probably going to win that week. He did handedly. 60 whatever points or whatever it was for the week, 60.6, 60.5, something like that. I don't know. And then you look at Matt's side. David Johnson, I called him out last week. Guess what David Johnson did? He scored. Didn't give any yards, but he scored. So there's hope there. You also have some guy named Josh Rosen coming in. He's already been named the starter. Speaking of which, we have a bunch of starters coming up this next week, 4 to be exact, that are rookies. So tip of the cap. Hopefully this time next year, Dallas will be starting a rookie at quarterback. Gotta be clear there. Also in this matchup, I'm actually talking about next week's matchup for Matt. Jordan Reed and Chris Thompson both are on bye weeks. So the team that hasn't been scoring, and Matt's team is looking at 2 guys that are his starters sitting there, going to be on his bench for bye week situations. So can he find a way to make something work? I don't know. Also, Emmanuel Sanders scored for Matt on a 35 or 32-yard run, rushing touchdowns. Because wide receivers score rushing touchdowns all day, baby. It seems to be a trend this year. I don't know why. So moving on from this matchup, I'm going to go ahead and bring up Sergio and AK's matchup. Sergio won 108.7 to 78.6. Again, Sergio, congrats on another easy win. I guess you just have the grasp on team's defense, or your defense has the grasp on team's offense because no one scores against you. It's got to be amazing to have no one score. Cam threw 4 touchdowns, or he had 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 throwing, total of 4 touchdowns from your quarterback. You're loving life. Chicago defense also put up 14 points. I don't even have to mention many things else. I mean, AK didn't even break 80 points. AK, he started Wentz. Wentz was back. Wentz looked a little rusty. Didn't really give him the production that he would have hoped for. We all expect Wentz to bounce back. He just got to kind of get back in the swing of things. Also, CMC, Christian McCaffrey, balled out. His most career rushing yards in one game in his career, 184 rushing yards. He was running wild. Now, as an encore, he gets a bye week, so AK has to figure out how to get around that. Yikes. Yikes. Moving on to the next matchup, we have Bryant and DJ, 2 good friends, battling it out. DJ, again, screwed over in regards to people scoring a lot on him. Let me bring this into perspective for you. So DJ is the only person that has had at least 400 points scored against him through 3 weeks. He's actually at 435.58 points allowed. The closest person is like 380 or something like that. So it's a big gap. It's a big gap, and DJ's he's been unlucky. Let's put it that way. Kenya Drake scoring 1 point also is not going to help. But you look at this. Bryant had Mike Evans, who is balling out. Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic just loves going to him, as he should. That's his number 1 wide receiver. Makes big plays. I mean, you expect Mike Evans to look like this on a year-by-year basis. Hasn't looked like that recent years. So he's kind of coming back into form. Will it continue? Jameis Winston's back. Did he put down the crab legs? Does he stop beating Uber drivers? We'll have to wait and find out to see if he actually gets a starting job back. But he's back in the room now, or back in the facility starting week 4. Also, Adrian Peterson, all day as they like to call him. Well, all day long he made DJ just want to throw his laptop. As a matter of fact, I can confirm DJ never even opened up his laptop. It's a fact. 27 points, 2 touchdowns, 120 yards rushing. AP, have yourself a 2010 day, throwback season over here for sure. On the DJ side of thing, Robert Woods, 2 scores. DJ is really loving him some Robert Woods. I can confirm this for sure. It's probably one of the most exciting players that he has, and he roots for hardcore. He's got him on Thursday night, so he's excited. Also, Tom Brady has to get back to the basics. He had probably one of the most basic weeks I've seen from him. 2 weeks combined in a row that I've ever seen from him, against Jacksonville last week and then against Detroit this week. Everyone expected him to bounce back after the Jacksonville loss, and instead he just laid a complete dud on Sunday Night Football. So that's unfortunate for DJ, but it's Brady. There's not one of us in this league that thinks Brady isn't going to bounce back. Let's be honest. Okay, and then you move on to the next matchup here. I have Luis versus James. VR such a breeze, so to speak, for James' side of things. And, that breeze hit a halt for the second straight week as he sits at 1-2, losing 144.26 to 103.94, I think. Can't read my writing. It might be 9-1. Who knows? So on this, for Luis's side, Mike Williams, he's a red zone target. He's showing that. Phillip Rivers is using him. Obviously, I know Luis is happy. That's just one of his guys for his team, and he's balling out, so he really likes that. Also, Matt Ryan, screw you from the bottom of my heart. Last year, you completely were dog trash. I'm going to say it like that. I know I'm on YouTube, so I'm going to try my best. For me all of last season. This week, you put up 53.16 points. To put that in perspective, that is a 6th of the total points he scored for me all of last season. Awesome! Anyway, James' side of things. Rams defense scored a touchdown, gave him 15 points to go with Breeze, who's just honestly, Breeze has been a great pick for James. He is balling out week in and week out. 396 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, just absolutely great. Oh, yeah, Drew Brees also ran to win. Yeah, he ran to win. Have to bring it back to you because no one actually thinks that would happen. But apparently it did. So, Luis, congrats on your your win. You started out week 1 in the very bottom of the cellar, and your team is flourishing lately, so you're on a roll. Keep it up. Last matchup here for the week, we have J Nash versus Aaron. J Nash sent convicts packing to his own dog pound. It's a little rough. They're barking out there in the pound right now as they lost 122.18 to 102.64 in this matchup. How about Matt Prater? 14 points. I just wanted to give someone love for a kicker. I didn't do that yet. So, Matt Prater, you're my choice this week. Also, and I say that like I'm not about to talk about another one in a second, but it doesn't matter. And then you look at J Nash's side of things. When you describe J Nash's team, there's really only one thing you could say. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. I actually hate saying that. I have family in New Orleans, and don't like to actually saying that. I always jokingly say it, but it actually holds value for J Nash. 37.9 points from Thomas and Kamara. Those are his top 2 guys. If New Orleans has a bad day, more than likely, so is J Nash's team. If they're not, and those guys are balling out, you're probably in for a rough little matchup. When you switch over sides to Aaron's team, I apologize. Aaron's team, Kareem Hunt scored twice, nearly no yards. They just passed all day for Kansas City. So Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns, both from the 1-yard line. Basically, he has to score at this point for his value because they do not hand the ball off enough. It seems like I don't understand that what's going on there, but we'll figure that if that holds value over the course of the season or what. Also, Aaron's a big Longhorn fan. Hook 'em, hook 'em, hook 'em. I know they're back, baby. Justin Tucker, 2 50-yard field goals. Aaron, hold it high, buddy. Hold it high. Anyway, moving on to week 4. Thursday night football, we have Minnesota at the Los Angeles Rams. A good matchup. I know last week I talked about how Minnesota was my Super Bowl pick. They're going to ball out. Well, guess what they did? They got blown out by the Bills at home. So, like I told you, I'd probably be wrong, and I have to change it. Guess what? I'm wrong. I'm having to change it. Who knows? Let me go with the Rams in this one since it's in LA. Key guys in this matchup. There's a lot. So you have Stephon Diggs, Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook if he's healthy, Kyle Rudolph, Minnesota defense. On one side for the Rams, you have Todd Gurley, Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods. I put frickin' in here because Ponchal has him on his team. And the Rams defense. So it should be a good matchup. Monday Night Football is Kansas City and Denver. So can Pat Mahomes keep it up? I, for one, really want to see if he can. Denver's not no shrug of a defense. I mean, they're not the elite defense that they were a few years back. But if he can keep it up through week 4, that's a quarter of the season of complete domination. I'm actually curious to see if he can do that. People get hot. Is he going through a hot phase and will fade? Or is he going to continue to push through and be the Pat Mahomes, the legend? Not even the legend, the man, the myth, the legend. I got to put it that way because otherwise it just doesn't seem to work off for him. I just got a notification. Let's see what it says. Hey, Joey Gallo smashed his 40th home run of the season. Yeah, he's at like 200 strikeouts well, so who really cares? Also, waiver wire is tomorrow. That means 9 a.m. You can pick people up. Don't pick up before. I don't want to drop them from your team. I don't want to lock your team. If you pick someone up before that, you automatically are forfeited your best player to my team, and I will give you who do I have on my bench? I'll give you D.D. Westbrook. There you go. Anyway, I have some important stuff to tell you to kind of close out this video for everyone. Everyone, first and foremost, I told you, the Underdog Revenge Tour is possibly being postponed till VR13. To be decided if management can kind of get the tour back together. We're trying to figure that out. Until that happens, just remember, it's fantasy hockey season, baby. It's fantasy hockey season. And just to show you how much of fantasy hockey season it is, we're going to give a rundown of my fantasy hockey team. It's right here. Oh, no, you can't really see it that well. See if I can darken it. No, you can't. Anyway, I'll read it to you. I got Sagan, William Nylander, Richard Raquel, Clayton Keller, Vladimir Tarasenko, Wayne Simmons, Shane Gostisbehere, Matt Dumba, Rasmus Dahlin, Justin Falk, Steven Stamkos. I mean, you got to look at this. We got Casey Middlestat, Eric Stahl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, JT Miller, I'm telling you. Look at my tendies. This is ridiculous. Martine Jones, Kari Price, Mike Smith. Legendary! Legendary! All I know is, everyone, think about it this way. It's fantasy hockey season, and I'm excited for a good sport. A sport that I have a chance in. Anyway, VR12. I love you guys. Most of you guys. Anyway, week 4 is upon us. I'm going to get my first win. The reason I say this is because James, the Underdog Revenge Tour, or fantasy hockey season, whichever you want to call it, is out to get you. You better be prepared, because I'm coming for my first dub, baby. Anyway, Kelch is out. The commission note is over. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.